certified most accurate. Now, your First Warn 5 forecast with Mid-Michigan's only live radar. Here's Chief Meteorologist Bryan Bachman.
All right, a very good Monday evening to you, and also happy Veterans Day to each and every one of our veterans out there. Hopefully this weather didn't spoil the celebration of your day out here today, but of course, suffice to say that we've completely ignored fall at this point and just moved straight on into winter a full month and a half early, as we've seen the heavy snow coming down across most of the region, of course, today. And for many of us, it continues out there tonight. We see that here on the First Warn 5 Pinpoint Doppler radar. Live from MBS, we've now moved into the second phase of our system, like I mentioned before. This is the purely lake effect snow phase, and as you can see, we still have quite a bit of it, spanning anywhere from Standish and Sterling through Gladwin all the way to the east side of Mount Pleasant in through Alma, and then steadier snows as far south as Flint, Owasso, everyone really along I-69. But I want to point out something a little bit important here. We zoom in closer to the thumb, and you see how nothing's showing up on radar here from about Bad Axe to Port Austin and Delaware. That's actually an unfortunate limitation of the radar and not indicative of the fact that snow isn't coming down. In fact, just the opposite. It is snowing just as heavily in all of these locations as it is a little bit farther inland, and that just has to do with the fact that the radar beam gradually looks higher and higher into the atmosphere as it propagates out, and by the time it reaches the eastern thumb, since lake effect snow is a very low level feature, a lot of times the radar beam goes right up and over it. So make no mistake, it is snowing and quite heavily in parts of the thumb, and you of course are in line to see the heaviest additional totals by the time things are all said and done tomorrow morning. As for the look outside here tonight, we go over to downtown Saginaw. You can see that blanket of snow continuing to thicken up. It's 20 degrees right now, but it already feels like 7 degrees when you factor in the winds. North wind coming in at 14 miles per hour. And remember, since this snow is very powdery out there today, even a light wind is going to have no trouble moving that around. So expect the roads, even well after the snow stops tonight, to at the very least remain a little bit snow dusted and certainly icy well into the morning commute tomorrow. Temps around the rest of the area not faring a whole lot better. We're at 19 degrees for the air temp. Midland, Gladwin, West Branch as well, 15 in Houghton Lake, and at best, we're talking about middle 20s, 25 in Caro and Sandusky, and 27 in Port Hope right now. Like I mentioned before, that snowfall that has already been record-breaking, especially in the Flint area, we're going to transition away from that into record cold as we head into tomorrow, because now we're bracing for the second shot of Arctic air that we were talking about late last week. And you can see what we're dealing with here. We've got temps well down into the single digits across the northern tier, even a 0-degree reading in International Falls. And yeah, you guessed it, all of that air is going to be spilling our way as our storm system from today, now centered here on the First Warn 5 Sky Tracker in western Pennsylvania, moves away into New England. It's going to take most of the snow activity with it, but then it's all about that Arctic high pressure system that you see over the Dakotas as that gradually builds east across the Great Lakes over the next couple of days. And this record cold will apply not only to our high temperatures for tomorrow, but also likely our low temps tomorrow night into Wednesday morning. But let's go back to the snow here for a moment. First Warn 5 hour-by-hour forecast continuing to show those intense lake effect bands by the time we hit 11 p.m., funneling in mostly across the thumb right up to about the Tri-Cities and Flint. Then what's going to happen overnight is as our winds begin to take on more of a north and then northwesterly direction, here's 2 a.m. We're just going to watch this band continue to pivot its way across the thumb, still lingering in places like Bad Axe, Harbor Beach to Sandusky first thing tomorrow morning, then finally beginning to pull away out into Lake Huron late tomorrow morning and by about midday. Many of us will see a good blend of clouds and sunshine by the look of it for tomorrow. But then remember, we still have lake effect opportunities from Lake Michigan as the northwesterly winds kick up tomorrow. It'll be partly to mostly cloudy with scattered lake effect snow showers coming in from the north and west. And while these could lead to a new dusting on area roads, these at least will not lead to huge accumulations. So again, an additional 6 to 10, maybe higher, is likely by the time we hit mid-morning or so tomorrow in most of Huron County. 3 to 6, including the Caro and Sandusky areas. An additional narrow band of 1 to 3 right up to about the east side of the Tri-Cities. And then generally an inch or less, really nothing more than a dusting for just about everybody else overnight. So 17's your overnight low for tonight. Snow showers in the heavier lake effect bands to the east. We go back up to a high that is of only 24 degrees for tomorrow. That is exactly half of what our normal high temperature should be at 48 degrees. We'll have the scattered lake effect snow showers tomorrow, more of them developing Wednesday afternoon into Thursday morning. And even after these 20s for the middle of the week, David and Meg, we only get highs back into the 30s as we look ahead toward the weekend.